Hello and welcome to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Open House for the Dallas-Fort Worth High-Speed Transportation Connection Study. The purpose of this series of open houses is to provide the public and project stakeholders an update on the status of this project, lay out next steps in the planning process, and provide an opportunity for the public to ask questions and comment on the proposed alignment and upcoming federal environmental process. More detailed project information accompanying this presentation include exhibits, roll plots of the full alignment between Fort Worth and Dallas, informational handouts, and other project resources such as noise samples of real-world high-speed rail. During this presentation, we want to highlight the purpose and need for the project and how it fits into the planned statewide system. The North Central Texas Council of Governments 2045 Mobility Update, the region's long-range transportation plan, estimates that as the region continues its rapid growth, annual congestion and delays could cost North Texans $30.1 billion by 2045. Additionally, the region is projected to experience a 51.4% population increase to over 11 million people by 2045. Dallas-Fort Worth isn't the only region to experience this growing strain on its transportation infrastructure. The entire state of Texas expects to grow at a similar pace as well, putting additional strain on the already overburdened statewide highway system. With the expected growth in the Dallas-Fort Worth region, more travel choices are needed. Additional travel choices will increase connectivity to, from, and within the North Texas region, and will provide better travel time reliability, help improve air quality, and will lessen demand on the region's roadways. To address this need, the North Central Texas Council of Governments has been conducting the Dallas-Fort Worth High-Speed Transportation Connection Study in the hopes to lessen congestion delays and plan for the future of the DFW Metroplex. The primary objectives of this study are to evaluate high-speed transportation options between downtown Dallas and downtown Fort Worth. This includes analyzing both alignment and transportation mode options to connect Dallas-Fort Worth to other proposed high-performance corridor connections in the state, such as the Dallas to Houston High-Speed Rail Project, and to enhance and better connect the DFW regional transportation system. Several statewide studies have been done on high-speed rail and on other high-speed rail modes in the state, including Texas Central's Dallas to Houston High-Speed Rail and the Fort Worth to Laredo High-Speed Transportation Study. The Dallas-Fort Worth study would connect the statewide system as planned by the Regional Transportation Council, which is the transportation policy board for the North Central Texas Council of Governments, through the Mobility 2045 update with a one-seat ride connecting to 3 stations within the Metroplex. The first of these statewide options involves an upside-down U-shape that would allow the Dallas-Fort Worth High-Speed Rail Project to connect the Dallas to Houston High-Speed Rail to the proposed Texas to Oklahoma High-Speed Rail Project via Fort Worth. Events over the past year have advanced new possibilities to a statewide system resembling a Texas T-bone structure as illustrated here. The Federal Railroad Administration has initiated several programs such as the Corridor Identification and Development Program and the Federal-State Partnership Intercity Passenger Rail Program to advance the planning and construction of new passenger rail corridors throughout the nation. The North Central Texas Council of Governments submitted an application to the Corridor ID program to link the Fort Worth to Dallas project with the Dallas to Houston High-Speed Rail Project. Additionally, Amtrak recently announced their pursuit of a partnership with Texas Central on the Dallas to Houston High-Speed Rail Project. With all of this recent momentum, now is the right time to advance the Fort Worth to Dallas project through the federal environmental process, setting it up to be one of the first high-speed rail projects in Texas. Instead of an upside-down U system as discussed on the previous slide, perhaps the first high-speed rail project implemented in the state could be the Fort Worth to Houston with a future high-speed rail corridor linking Austin, San Antonio, and Laredo to the Grimes County Station near Bryan College Station. More coordination is needed between all potential partners to make the Texas high-speed rail vision a reality, both at the state and federal levels. The North Central Texas Council of Governments is committed to advancing those partnerships, ensuring the Dallas-Fort Worth region is seamlessly connected to a statewide system. The Dallas-Fort Worth High-Speed Transportation Connection Study has been divided into two phases. The first phase analyzed all reasonable alternatives for alignment in transportation technologies or modes and was completed last year. The second phase, the subject of this open house, will include preliminary engineering and environmental analysis and documentation as prescribed by the National Environmental Policy Act, also known as NEPA. Phase 2 includes a number of public engagement events like this open house and public meetings or hearings, as well as individual stakeholder meetings. As always, questions and comments are welcome throughout the entire study process. You play an important role in the Dallas-Fort Worth High-Speed Transportation Connection Study. We have comment forms available and online for you to share your concerns, excitement, and questions with the project team. We need your input and we look forward to hearing from you so that we can bring high-speed rail to North Texas. Overview of Phase 1 efforts and recommendations. In Phase 1, the initial study area covered over 230 square miles. In general, the project team used the previous transportation studies to identify alignments and corridors along existing transportation routes as much as possible to minimize the need to acquire additional property. This minimizes impacts to existing homes and businesses. Each alignment and corridor option connect downtown Fort Worth to downtown Dallas. In all, 43 distinct alignments and corridors were identified and analyzed in Phase 1. These were grouped into 5 families of options: the Trinity Railway Express alignments in purple, the Trinity River alignments in gold, the I-30 alignments in dark blue, the State Highway 180 alignments, which are very near the existing Union Pacific Railroad alignment, in red, and the State Highway 303 alignments in light blue. 5 transportation technologies or modes of travel were examined for their use to meet the region's travel needs. These included conventional passenger rail, higher speed rail, which are faster than conventional trains but slower than high-speed trains, high-speed rail like the passenger trains proposed for the Dallas to Houston system, magnetic levitation or maglev technology, and hyperloop technology, which incorporates a passenger or cargo pod moving in a near vacuum tube. The project team also identified and considered other emerging transportation technologies. After almost 2.5 years of study, the recommended alignment from Phase 1 generally follows the I-30 corridor between Dallas and Fort Worth with a proposed stop in Arlington. The proposed station locations include the high-speed rail station in downtown Dallas for the Dallas to Houston high-speed project, the Arlington Entertainment District, and Fort Worth Central Station. In Phase 1, the project team used a 3-level screening process to narrow down the initial vast number of possible options to a select few. As the project team moved into Phase 2, we further evaluated alignment options along I-30, narrowing them down to a single alternative to be reviewed in the NEPA analysis and documentation process. The eastern section of I-30 has been reconstructed by the Texas Department of Transportation, while the western section of I-30 in Tarrant County will be reconstructed in upcoming years. TxDOT is currently studying options for this project, and construction of the DFW high-speed rail can be integrated in this design. The provided exhibits accompanying this presentation lay out this single proposed alignment in more detail. The final recommended mode of transportation at the conclusion of Phase 1 was high-speed rail, which is the only mode that was carried forward into Phase 2. For more information on the screening analysis and other activities completed in Phase 1, please review the Phase 1 Alternatives Analysis Final Report found under the Project Information tab on the project's website. The benefits of bringing high-speed rail to Texas include providing a one-seat ride from Fort Worth to Houston with stops in Arlington, Dallas, and Bryan College Station. High-speed rail reduces carbon output as opposed to other transportation methods, including conventional rail, and is less susceptible to inclement weather when compared to traveling by car or plane, causing fewer travel delays. Grade separations between railways and roadways also make high-speed rail one of the safest methods of travel. This will also allow for more reliable travel times. Phase 2, Engineering and Environmental. When we began Phase 2 of the study, we focused on refining and finalizing the alignment. We've continued to coordinate with the Federal Railroad Administration, Federal Transit Administration, Texas Department of Transportation, local governments, agencies, and major stakeholders to make sure that all voices continue to be heard. We are now ready to enter the NEPA process. This will include preliminary engineering, environmental analysis and documentation, development of financial and project management plans, and ongoing public stakeholder and agency engagement. During the NEPA process, effects on neighborhoods and community assets like parks and schools, air quality, noise, ecosystems, water, cultural resources, economics, and the transportation network are all considered. NEPA requires federal agencies to consider appropriate mitigation measures during the NEPA process. This includes avoiding, minimizing, rectifying, reducing over time, and compensating for adverse impacts. For example, a noise analysis will be conducted as part of the environmental impacts analysis. If a noise impact is identified, the project team will look for opportunities to avoid or minimize that impact. If avoidance and minimization is not possible, then mitigation would occur, possibly in the form of a noise wall. A big part of this process also involves listening to stakeholders like you and getting your feedback. Next steps. If the environmental document and design in Phase 2 is finalized, the project would take a major step closer to becoming a reality. The North Central Texas Council of Governments is taking a leadership role in advancing a high-speed rail corridor through the planning process between Dallas and Fort Worth for future public-private interest and investment. There is currently no set timeline for next steps following environmental clearance, but the next phase in advancing this corridor includes identifying an implementing agency and funding for the project to proceed to final design and construction. Preliminary engineering and the ensuing environmental process will help identify any additional right-of-way needs. Right-of-way acquisition is not a part of this current study. To stay connected to the Dallas-Fort Worth High-Speed Transportation Connection Study, please visit our project website at nctcog.org/DFW-HSTCS to learn more about the study and stay updated on upcoming public meeting dates. Our project team also offers additional opportunities to learn more about the study. We are available to provide study information at special events or to groups seeking additional information. Please contact Rebecca Gongora using the contact information provided here. We'd like to thank you for your time and interest. Please provide your comments and opinions through the options provided on the screen. Your input is welcomed and very valuable to the project's success. Thank you.